Well, thank you, Jamie. Good to see you back. And thank you, everyone, for joining us at the first Sydney Chocolate Ball since COVID changed all our lives. It's going to be a wonderful night as we venture into the metaverse, focus on medical technology and enjoy ourselves. But for those of you that don't know the history of this foundation, I thought I'd just go back 15 years when I first started this foundation to find a cure for FSHD, which, as Jamie has said, is one of the most common forms of muscular dystrophy in adults and children. At that time, it was a mission that seemed like impossible. We were faced with very limited global research, no government support, no global community network, limited knowledge of the disease, and old world diagnostic technology. It was a time researchers could not access funding. It was the time I was told by many researchers, don't waste your time or money on FSHD. It was a time I travelled the world to meet neurologists, researchers, patients, and their families to learn more about this poorly diagnosed disease. I learnt a lot out of this, but I still remember many of these meetings, particularly one in Moscow. I met a leading neurologist who had a number of FSHD patients. It was a very cold day, and I was actually freezing. And I said to him, how do people with FSHD survive in this sub-zero weather? He just shrugged his shoulders and he said, they die. Well, that left an impression on me. But the more people I met, the more people I realised wanted solutions. And it made it important for me to actually try and make a difference to help these people globally. They were very tough times. Now, solutions normally come from access to funding, good focused global research, and vertical education for all stakeholders. So the FSHD Global Research Foundation was born. Its focus was FSHD, but its scope was much, much wider, including research into muscle wellness, muscle repair, and muscle technology that would improve muscle function for everybody. People would say, why focus on muscles? And my response was, well, we cannot live without muscles. And when they're not functioning properly, we live a substandard life. So since then, we have been a catalyst for global change. We've achieved a lot. Not only have we engaged with the world's best researchers and funded over 20 million in global research, we've placed Australia as a significant contributor to the Golden Research groups. We've educated clinicians, researchers, governments and patients, and we've even been trying to educate politicians, state and federal members, and even the Australian Department of Health. And we even spent a lot of time trying to educate a former Prime Minister. In Australia, we've changed the diagnostic landscape. We've created a fully characterised cell bank for FSHD tissue. We've built an educational portal, funded diagnostic equipment employing the world's best and latest technology. We've held seminars for scientists globally, published papers and education brochures for clinicians and patients. We have formed scientific advisory committees with the leading global researchers, invested into biotechs and created alliances with medical institutions. In addition to all this, we've prepared a roadmap for the Australian government to follow for clinical trial readiness, and much, much more. A few years ago, I was in a board meeting of a Dutch company that I helped create for the purpose of focusing on small molecule research to find a cure for FSHD. It was a really thought-provoking moment for me to suddenly realise that having become one of the largest supporters and investors into this biotech, The reality was that Australians would be unlikely to be able to participate in any future clinical trials, as Australia did not meet the world's best standards in clinical trial preparation for FSHD. It suddenly sunk in, and the goalpost had just moved for me. So when the reality sank in, the next step was to work out how to prepare a roadmap for Australia to be able to participate in these trials. Now this marked a major milestone for the Foundation in our direction, which coincided with the COVID lockup. During this period, I found time to spend with my grandchildren and family, and I spent a lot of time with my wonderful daughter Natalie. It was during this time we started to plan and reshape the future direction of this foundation, which would include future clinical trial. I really enjoyed this quality time with Natalie. Now, let me ask you a question. Put your hand up if you have a daughter. Wow, lots of them. Well, they're beautiful, aren't they? They certainly are. But let me tell you, when they grow up and become powerful, intelligent women who are strong and charismatic leaders, look out. It was during this time, Natalie took control of the discussion, tapped me on the shoulder and said, "Dad, I think I can chair this foundation into the future, and this is what I will do." I stopped and thought, what had happened to my little girl that loved colouring in? The rest is history. She let me stay on the board, and she let me speak for 5 minutes tonight. And for that I thank her. You'll meet her tonight and she'll talk about the future. Now, everything we've achieved and we hope to achieve in this foundation in the future is because of our supporters, our sponsors, our wonderful board of directors. I can't talk too much about. They add so much value to the execution of our strategy. And not to forget our patrons and volunteers and our staff. Well, it might surprise you to know we only have 2 full-time staff. We survive off the generosity and the support of people who volunteer their time. Tonight, many of these people are here, and to them I say thank you. We will not let you down. Enjoy the evening. Use this occasion to meet some of the great people that we have put together tonight. Learn about our cause, and please support us. Thank you, and good night.